Welcome to Geocaching Throwback Thursday, where we play all our archived episodes from 2011 and up. I'm your host, Hiker James 52, from the studio in Naples, Golden Gate, Florida, the Sunshine State. Grab your favorite beverage and enjoy our episodes. Warning, this is a family-friendly radio. Children of all ages are welcome to participate.
This is my grandpa's geocaching talk show.
Hello geocachers, and welcome to another episode of Hiker James After Cache. Today is episode 3, and we had just went through the 4th of July weekend. This is Sunday, July 6th, 2014. Okay, there's the two familiar sounds that everybody hears when they're out geocaching. Which one do you prefer? The quietness and the birds, or the sounds of the traffic in the city? Send me an email and let me know which sounds you like the best when you're geocaching.
And now for our latest news.
Okay, and has anyone ever needed some log sheets, extra log sheets, and don't know where to find them at? Well, we have a website that I always go to, and it's called Tech Blazer, and that's found at www.techblazer.com. And when you get to that page there, you can see where it says geocaching log sheets. Now they have a variety of log sheets that you can print out. They have all the way from the extremely small nanos to the 2.5-inch original or refills. They have color or black and white. They even have stash notes. Now, if you know what a stash note is, a stash note is the little sheet that you put in with the log that says, "Congratulations, you found it, intentionally or not." And then it tells you that it's part of a worldwide game loved by GPS global positioning system users who are on the internet. It's like a scavenger hunt. It's called geocaching. A GPS user hides a treasure, this container, and publishes the exact coordinates so other GPS users can come on a treasure hunt to find it. Yes, it explains what you're there for, what you have done there, and for the next person, if they find it on purpose or accidentally, they'll at least know where to go. And it even tells you to go to geocaching.com to learn more about it. So there you have the techblazer.com for all your log sheets needs. Okay, and right now I have a question, and I found this floating around out there on one of the websites, and the question was, how do you roll your log? Do you roll it from top to bottom, or do you roll it from bottom to top? Now, I don't really have a preference on that. I usually try to roll them up the best I can now. They're talking about the little nanos where you have to have a log roller or some type of equipment to roll that log back up to where it'll fit back in that little nano. I had made me some out of some things that I've picked up here and there, and so I've made my own. It's easy to make. Put a little ingenuity into it. We will get into that maybe later on in the show and explain to you how I made mine. But the question is, how do you roll your nano? Now, if you roll it from top to bottom and there's only 2 or 3 signatures on there, then the person has to unroll the whole sheet to sign his name to it. Otherwise, if you roll it from bottom to top, the first to find, if there's any, is showing first thing when you find the cash. And when you start to unroll it, if there's only 2 or 3 names on it already, you don't have to unroll it all the way. You can just roll it down to where you can sign your name to it, and there you have it. Now, the suspense of this is, I think that if you had a new geocache out there, a new nano, and you rolled up the logbook backwards to where you would have to unroll it all the way, and there's some suspense there of whether or not you're first to find, instead of just taking it out of the nano or the micro or whatever and just pull it down just a little bit to where it says, wow. We'll let that one go by here before we continue with that. All right. Sounds like we have some excitement going on down the street somewhere. But yeah, it's a suspense. But if you got it rolled up to where from the bottom to the top, you roll it down just a little bit and see, oh, first to find's already been there, or oh boy, I'm first to find. No, it doesn't matter really how you roll a log. It's like a lot of other things. The only thing that counts is how you hang toilet paper on the roller. That's the only thing that, I get in trouble every time I hang a roll of toilet paper on the hanger because I do it backwards. But anyway, that's kind of something to think about. How do you roll your log sheet? Now for a little statistics here. Let me see what I can bring up on this show, Hiker James After Cache. And it looks like, well, we started this show. This is only our 3rd episode, but we started on 6/22, and out of the first 2 shows that we had, we've got a total of 339 listeners already on this show. So yay, how you say it? Way to go, Hiker James. Yes, okay. Well, I'm not going to brag about it because it fluctuates. It runs up and down. But yes, the word gets out there and people do listen. And we appreciate everybody that does come up there and listen to our show. And we hope you enjoy it and come back to listen to it later and the next episode and in the next episode. Who knows? One of these days I might have it all mastered enough to where people understand what I'm trying to talk about. Now, some of this stuff, like I said, this is pre-recorded, and so a lot of it I will go back and cut it out and redo it. Sometimes it's better to be normal or natural than it is to be perfect all the way through there. And if I went back to this 45-minute show and edited everything that didn't sound right, it would take me a day and a half to do it, the whole show, and I just let it go. All right, what do you want to talk about? What do you want me to talk about? What do you want to say? You got any questions? You got any comments?
We'll be back after this commercial.
NE Geocaching Supplies is one of the largest EU suppliers of geocaching and Munsey products. We specialise in retailing geocaching items and Munzie products to the UK and international geocaching and Munzie markets. We stock a full range of geocaching products from geofossils to globetrotter tags and travel twins to exclusive and hard to find geocoins. We also stock a large selection of ready to place caches and an extensive selection of Munzie products. Find us at www.anygeocachingsupplies.co.uk.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about how do you geocache. When you decide to go out geocaching, do you go solo by yourself, or do you go with friends, family? And do you hike on the trails? Do you go on a bicycle? Do you drive? There's lots of different ways to go geocaching, but I was just wondering what people have to say about the way they go geocaching. I've seen a picture one time on a website where this guy from Saudi Arabia, I believe it was, or somewhere over there, that was geocaching on his camel. There's skateboarders, there's roller skaters. There's all different types of ways to get around. Recently, Peanuts or Pretzels went geocaching on horseback. It's just amazing what different ways you can do that. And let me know what way you go, or what ways have you went before when you go geocaching. Also, is there an age limit for geocachers? I don't think so. I know for sure of people that geocache, and the youngest that I know of right now is 3 years old, and he goes geocaching with his mom, Ginger the geocacher. And it's just the oldest that I know, and then I have even went geocaching with this fella, is 70. And don't let the age get you down, because if they're out there at that age geocaching, yes, they can keep up with you. And it was amazing how people that are used to being out in the outdoors can actually keep up with someone who hasn't had the opportunity to be outdoors that much. Oh, and the name that I gave you to start with there with the 3-year-old is, I did it backwards. It's the Ginger geocacher. Maybe get a hold of her, and maybe before next weekend, and see if we can get her to come on and be in the studio with us for a little recording. So that's the Ginger geocacher. All right. Did you know that there are some GPSs out there that need to be calibrated? Well, I didn't know it either until I watched a video one time where Andy Hardhead Hat was calibrating his GPS. So I checked it out, because usually the instruction manual, they don't tell you everything, how to do a lot of things. I have Magellan Triton 300. I went up online and searched calibrating Triton. You can go up online and search your GPS, how to calibrate. I found out here that, it's simple, but it says that it should be recalibrated every time you change the batteries. Now, I found out not all of them need calibration. There was one here that I found this morning I went into, and it was a Garmin eTrex 20. I searched for that one, and it says does not need calibration. It doesn't have an electronic compass. Now, I guess I have an electronic compass, because now I've tried it either way. I've tried to find a cache after I've changed my batteries, and then I have tried to find that cache after I'd calibrated it, and it made a world of difference of where the GZ was on that cache. So you might want to check that out. It saves a little more aggravation out there in the field when you can get closer to it by calibrating your GPS. If you want to learn more about geocaching, you can go to geocaching www.geocaching.com. That's www.geocaching.com. And that's spelled Geocaching. Now, when you first bring up the page, you're going to look there on the top left corner, and you're going to see our little arrows where the first one, it says Learn. Now, if you just hover your mouse over Learn, it will open up a window that says Geocaching 101 and Videos. You want to click on Geocaching 101, and from there first thing that shows up is a little video. It's a 1 and 16-second video about what is geocaching. Then under that you have Geocaching 101. Welcome to the geocaching community. If you still have questions after reviewing this information, we recommend that you search our help center or ask a question in the geocaching forums. Now, you can go through all of these without being a member. If you haven't signed up yet, I recommend that you signed up, because you can see a little bit more of what it's about as you actually go to the pages where caches are hidden. And there's a free sign up. There's 2 different memberships. One's the free and the other one is a premium. And you can learn all about the 2 different ones there also. And so if you're looking down through here, they've got questions on the game, questions on getting started, questions on finding geocaches, hiding geocaches, trackables, what does the word acronym mean, what does an icon mean. There's so many things on here that you can learn so much about geocaching just from going to this page. So we hope that you do. We hope that you educate yourself on a lot of geocaching questions and answers there. Okay, what does being prepared mean to you? When you go out geocaching, what do you do to prepare yourself for this trip? I know you want to make sure that you got your GPS, your ink pen, pencil, paper, different things. So we make sure you got your compass and maps and whatever it needs to be. But if you're going out into the woods, do you take your bug spray? Do you there's so many different things that you can pack into a bag. And here's another thing. I was looking at this one geocache that you had to wade across the river to find it, and it says in the notes that water is ankle high. And so I took my rubber boots with me that came halfway up to my knees. Now I figured, well, if it's ankle high, them will cover it. That'll work. So I did. I took them. I got to where I was supposed to cross the river, and I changed into my boots. And before I got across the other side of the river, it was like an island out there. And before I got to that little island, I was up to my waist in water, soaked from my waist down. Boots were full of water, my socks were soaked, everything was soaked. So, to be prepared, does that mean the next time I see someone say it's only ankle deep to wear my waders? Oh yeah, I'll be prepared. I'll either do that, or I'll be prepared to take my my socks off at least, because when I went back I couldn't put my socks in my shoes because they were so soaked. And I'd walked probably a half a mile down the bike trail to get to this crossover where the little island was. That half a mile walk back to the car was terrible. It was squish, 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 squish every time I took a step. I had my socks off, but I put my shoes back on. But what the problem was here, the water was so full of water in my pants that the water was dripping down into my shoes from my cuffs on my pants. So, there's all kinds of things. What are you prepared to do? What do you take with you when you go out on a certain geocache? Do you really read the page and see what it's all about and where it's at and what you need to get there with? Or do you just say, oh, there's one close to me, grab the coordinates and go? Because, a lot of people do that, and then you get out there and you can't find it. You look and look and look, and you just don't see it nowhere. And then when you get back home, you go to that page and say, I missed it somehow. I missed it. So you go up there and you log a DNF. And then you go and look at the notes and the comments and everything. And, there you see 7 or 9 DNFs on there. And then, it's been temporarily disabled. I wished I'd have known that before I went out there. Okay, that's being prepared also. You want to make sure before you go that there's been other people that has found it lately, up to date with their dates. If the last 5 people has found it, look at the date that they found it on, because if it was 2 years ago, chances are it's not there. If it is, you've done something really great there. You found a cache that nobody's found in 2 years, and that's something to show on your log visit that, yay, I was the first one to find it in 2 years. Yeah, I found one like that one time, and then after I found it, I seen 3 or 4 other people had come along and found it after me. I think what they was doing is waiting and waiting and waiting, and to see if anybody else has found it before they go out there and look for it. So it's a good idea. If the log data is up to date on the comments where people have found it lately, then go look for it. And if you have trouble with it and need a little more hints or some advice from one of the geocachers that's found it, send them a message and ask them, say, I need some help. Can you help me to locate this cache? And you'll get some help. They'll come back with some kind of, yes, I will, and here's my phone number. I've had people say, here's my phone number. If you can't find it from here, give me a call. So geocachers are the friendliest people out there. And it doesn't matter what part of the world you're from. A geocacher is a geocacher. Friends, family, they stick together because it's the game. It's addicting, and I know that everybody I've talked to told me they're addicted. But it's a good thing. It's a good addiction. It gives you something to do, gets you off the computer, gets you off your laptop, gets you off your television, gets you off your Game Boy or your Wii or whatever it is you sit in the house all weekend doing. And get you your exercise and have fun at the same time. So check it out. If you don't know about geocaching, go to geocaching.com and click on Learn Geocaching 101 and do something besides lay around. You'll regret it when you get older. Yep, you definitely will. And it'll be too late then. But anyway, instead of me sitting here just hammering on people for getting out and getting some exercise, we are thrilled to have this many listeners on our show so far. Like I said a while ago, we totaled it up. We're on our 3rd show, so from the first 2 shows that we did, and we have come up with a total of 339, I believe it was, listeners in the last 2 weeks. So, yay, that's good. Okay. Now, when this episode is published and I run it on the air, it automatically goes to Facebook, it goes to Twitter, it goes to Tumblr, and my YouTube channel. I'll get a list together next week and give you some info on all the places that it goes to, and you can sign up or subscribe to that I have an RSS feed on there also that we can do that with, and you can download it from there. You can download it on your phone app under Spreaker. I think it's Spreaker.com RSS feed or whatever. I'll get all that information for everybody next week. So we hope you enjoyed our show today, and we're going to go ahead and wrap it up now. So anyway, we are happy to have you here today, or whatever day it is that you're listening to us, and hope that you'll join us again next week and the following weeks after. So get those emails and voice messages into us, and give us something to talk about. Tell us what you did last week or this weekend, and send that in, and we'll discuss it on the show. So, all right. Well, we're going to call it quits. Anyway, this is Hiker James with Hiker James After Cash. Until next week, see ya.